think we are finally going to get started. Sorry for the little delays. This is actually the first time that we're running this event in this particular building. Normally it's a much larger gathering and we use a larger facility, so it's funny, this is our building, but I'm not as familiar with the logistics here. So we've been struggling a little in logistics, but we're going to get it. I hope you all had a safe trip here to DC. Thank you for coming. Thank you for making time during COVID. I know there's a lot going on in your schools. To be here to accept your award, it's really fantastic to have you here, and we're so honored to get to recognize you today. Just a reminder to silence your phones. You're welcome to tweet. As I mentioned before, the guest network is EdWiFi pound or #1, and that E is case sensitive capital. So we are live streaming for anyone at home now. That's from all the U.S. Department of Education social media accounts. So if there's anyone who wants to watch from home, and it'll also be available later to see. The general, we emailed you a program. The general plan for the day is, the afternoon rather, is we have a few speakers, 3 speakers, and then we have the awards presentation where you actually come up and receive your plaque, and we'll photograph, and we'll explain the logistics for that at that time. And then we have 2 more speakers. I do a little closing, and we head out to the reception. We try to keep this to under 2 hours. I think we should have no trouble this year because we have fewer honorees and fewer people to wrangle this year, but that's the general plan. So I think we'll just get right to it, beginning with our first speaker, the White House Council on Environmental Quality Chair, Brenda Mallory, to my left. As chair, she advises the president on environmental and natural resources policies that improve, preserve, and protect public health and the environment for America's communities. Chair Mallory has spent almost 20 years in federal service at the EPA and CEQ. She loves NCAA basketball, especially March Madness, because she enjoys learning about the young athletes and their families. And I'll invite Chair Mallory to come up and speak.
Thank you so much. Well, it's great to be here. I get so few occasions to actually have people in the room, and it's so exciting. Happy to be here today. Well, thank you, Andrea, and thank you to the Deputy Secretary Martin for hosting this event. And congratulations to all of you. Very exciting. I'm so glad to be able to be here and to be part of honoring you and the work that you are doing. On behalf of the White House Council on Environmental Quality, I want to thank each and every one of you for your commitment to fighting climate change, making our schools healthier, and promoting environmental education. The work you were able to accomplish in the last year is particularly deserving of attention. And I know this because my youngest daughter began a teaching fellowship in Oakland, California in 2020. As a result, I got a much closer look than I otherwise would have to the challenges that teachers, students, schools, and families were contending with. But importantly, I heard a lot about the commitment to provide meaningful programming even under those difficult circumstances, and we all owe you a debt of gratitude for that. It's that spirit of innovation, resilience, and endurance for which we honor you today. It's important that we take the time to recognize teachers, principals, superintendents, facilities managers, and many more who are shaping the lives of our young people, increasing environmental literacy, and teaching about the important role that we all have to play in protecting the planet. So many of the critically important issues that we are addressing in these early days of the Biden-Harris administration are about that future. At the Council on Environmental Quality, I advise the President on environmental policies. Our work at CEQ is grounded in a belief I share with the President that every single person has a fundamental right to drink clean water, to breathe clean air, and to live in a healthy community. We are working across the entire federal government to address climate change and environmental protection for all communities. We're partnering among federal, state, local governments with the private sector to improve health, safety, and resilience of our schools, lower their energy cost, and reduce their contribution to climate change. Schools have long served a center role in American communities and social resilience. They are where you educate your children, where we vote, where we assemble in fellowship, and where we seek shelter in emergency. As 60 million public school students, teachers, and employees head back to the class and work across the country this fall, I am reminded of the urgency of the moment we are in. President Biden's Build Back Better agenda offers historic investments to create healthier, more sustainable schools, from efficient ventilation systems to better indoor air, to investments in clean energy and electric school buses. We are working hard to get a head start on renovating and modernizing our schools, like so many of you here today. I want to acknowledge the work of our colleagues at the Department of Energy, the Department of Education, and the Environmental Protection Agency, who have launched the Efficient, Healthy Schools campaign. This collaboration, an interagency effort, provides recognition and support to schools that effectively utilize recovery funds to reduce energy bills and protect student and teacher health. This is just one example of how we are collectively working across the government to invest in our schools. As we engage in this work, it is truly inspiring to know that incredible impact being made year in and year out by those of you who show up every day to do the work of greening our schools, educating our children and young adults. It gives me great hope when I see such bright young people with big ideas and the support system behind them that helps guide them through these formative years. So, thank you, thank you, thank you for your education, for your dedication and hard work, and congratulations on well-deserved awards.
And our next speaker is Rosemary Anoba Carey. Did I get it right? She serves as the Associate Administrator for Public Engagement and Environmental Education at the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, leading the agency's community outreach and strategic engagement plans. Rosemary actually doesn't consider herself an environmentalist, and having a career in environmental justice was not top of mind when she was in school. Instead, she fundamentally believes that having access to clean air and water is an equal justice issue.
Thank you so much for that, Andrea, and thank you, Chair Mallory, for those inspiring words. Never forget that you have to take this off. And thank you to Deputy Secretary Martin for being here, and just thank you all for being here and all the really great work that you all are doing. Again, I'm Rosemary Anoba, and I'm the Associate Administrator for the Office of Public Engagement and Environmental Education at the United States Environmental Protection Agency, and I'm here on behalf of EPA Administrator Michael S. Regan, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, but he sent me to congratulate all of you all on receiving the 2021 U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon School Award. So let's give yourselves all an applause. All of you honorees have really done some incredible work across the country to reduce environmental impacts and utility costs and improve the health and wellness in our schools and ensure that we are having some effective environmental education for our students. Each of those goals is so important to us at the Environmental Protection Agency, and we know how important and connected they are. By cutting the environmental impacts, not only do you reduce pollution and fight for climate change, but you also protect the health of your students and cut the cost in the process, which we all know is really important in the education sector. We need to be putting more money back into our schools. And so being able to find ways to do that through cutting costs on emissions is so important and really critical. And so I want to thank you again for doing all that while also empowering your students around environmental education and using content in order to be able to educate them on the important work that's happening around their environment. It's really a win-win-win scenario. And I'm so thrilled again to be here today to celebrate each one of you all. Like all of you, EPA Administrator Michael S. Regan and I know that education can transform communities. And as educators and folks who work in the schools, we want to make sure that you all are working to empower people of all ages to take actions in their communities and help to solve the most pressing environmental challenges that we face, from tackling climate change, but also to talking about and engaging in environmental justice, which is so important and critical for our communities. At EPA, we recognize that there's so much work to do to promote environmental education and celebrate the outstanding work of our students and our teachers, just like you. And so we're committed to elevating the importance of environmental education inside the classroom, but also inside of the schools and making sure that we have healthy schools, just like the campaign that Chair Mallory talked about. And so again, we at EPA are looking forward to working with the Department of Education and the Green Ribbon Schools program and with Secretary Cardona and Deputy Secretary Martin to really do some really important work in schools. EPA hasn't traditionally engaged in schools as much as we should have, or as much as we should, but it's a priority for EPA Administrator Michael Regan. So together, EPA, the Department of Education, of all of you working hand in hand, we can tackle some of our most pressing challenges that our country is facing and create a more sustainable and equitable world. So I'm here today again to say how proud we all are of all the great work that you all are doing to make a difference in your communities. And we can't wait to continue to do this really important work together. So again, congratulations on your accomplishments and looking forward to staying in touch.
I realized I forgot to introduce myself at the beginning. My name is Andrea Falcon. I direct our U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon Schools and kind of handle anything at the department related to climate, environment, sustainability, infrastructure, all that stuff. Has not historically been a strong role for ed, but it is becoming more of an area that we get to work in, which is kind of exciting. So our next speaker is the Deputy Secretary for our agency, the Deputy Secretary of the U.S. Department of Education, Cindy Martin. She is now the designated Senior Leadership Official for Climate, Environment, and Sustainability Matters. The Deputy Secretary has been a champion for health and wellness, putting in place an award-winning wellness policy for staff and students while she was superintendent in San Diego Unified School District. Her commitment to equity and sustainability in supporting diverse students as they prepare for the economy of the future makes her a passionate advocate of our STEM and climate work and a huge admirer of all of the U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon Schools honorees. In addition, she has a young adult son whose concern for human impact on the planet pushes her to do more to help the environment through education.
Andrea just made my day because my son made it into one of my intros. He's going to be so happy. Yes, my son does push me to do more, and I'm so happy to welcome you all here today, and thank you, Andrea, for your tremendous work. You've taught me so much about all of the work you've been doing leading up to this and organizing this beautiful event and having such a warm introduction for me. So I'm glad to have you all here and just making today possible. I can only imagine all of the things that you all went through to get here and to make today possible. From the technical stuff to the folks in the back, thank you back there, to our photographers, just the whole team. Thank you, everybody. It means so much to us, and it's just an honor to be here and to be with so many of you that made the journey and all of your honorees and the stories that you each have. I can't wait to hear individual stories. Andrea will tell us more. What you all represent as honorees is the best that our nation's schools and school systems have to offer. I truly believe that in my heart. You are all the leaders, the innovators, and you're the ones who are making the urgent changes that will help us meet the challenges that we're facing. And you're also helping us find the opportunities. It's not just about challenge and facing it, but where are there opportunities to lead and to make a difference today, tomorrow, and every single day. You're those kinds of leaders. We're grateful for you. So I'm thrilled to be able to speak to you today. I want you to know that, as Andrea said in the introduction, before I joined the Department of Education this spring, I was superintendent in San Diego Unified School District. I was a classroom teacher for 17 years. I was a building principal at an inner city school where I worked for 10 years. And I was superintendent for the last 8 years in San Diego Unified. And in the nation's most diverse state, where our students and our teachers and our communities are already experiencing the harsh impacts of climate change and the energy needs every single day, what I saw as superintendent firsthand was how the work you are doing is not only critical, but it's urgent and it's impactful in the right ways. The U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon Schools Award recognizes the schools and the districts who are showing progress in reducing environmental impacts, improving health and wellness, and offering effective environmental and sustainability education that emphasizes what we know is so important, the real world learning for our students. When I was in San Diego, I have to say that we were thrilled as a district to receive the state level Green Ribbon Award. There's a lot of competition in California on this, as Andrea told me. But as San Diego Unified, we were thrilled at the time to receive the Green Ribbon Award that recognized the work that we did in that district. And that work was to promote all of the green initiatives. Just a few. We launched a zero net energy pilot program at one of our elementary schools that has since expanding on 39 existing solar installations, and 12 additional solar plant projects and buildings happened across the district. We participated in an annual recycling challenge with our waste program that did our food and trash program in the district. We had a recycling challenge that schools and children participated in. We installed more than 20,000 interior LED lights that resulted in rebates that exceeded $1.9 million. We saved more than 131 million gallons of water in a single fiscal year, and we constructed 2, and I think there might be more now, but LEED LEED certified buildings. And all of that also was related to our Board of Education passing and releasing the district's climate action plan that was designed to reduce the energy use, the greenhouse gases, in conjunction with what we called our Dream Big goals for sustainability, and we aligned it to the City of San Diego's climate action plan as well. So many great things happened. The children helped us develop our Food Not Waste program, where we reduced the amount of food waste as well. So kids did great projects with this in San Diego, but I knew in San Diego, and you know in each of your states, that all of this work that we can list, that what we've done, it's not about light bulbs and awards. It's about creating school environments that serve each child. It's about advancing equity and health in places where our children spend their most formative years. It's about taking the second largest public infrastructure footprint in America, our school buildings, and safeguarding them for generations to come. It's been since 2012 that the U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon Schools Award has recognized the excellence and the innovation in sustainability across our country. And it's modeled after long-standing recognition programs like the National Blue Ribbon Schools Program. What we do is we can use your examples of success so we can communicate the wins and the innovative practices that you're showing us, and we can inspire and inform school communities across the country. You help us do that. We are grateful to you for that. We also know that the learning environments have a significant impact on students' learning outcomes. And that as we talk about the future of education, we have to talk about the whole future. What do we have in store? Everything from climate change and resiliency to natural disaster responses to ensuring that students today are ready to enter the workforce in the green and blue economies. Programs matter. Getting our children ready for today and their future matters in the world of education more than ever. So in this program, it's so special to us because what it does is it gives us the symbol and the intersection of real world experiences and practices and circumstances with school planning and the teaching profession and the future of education broadly. There's so many intersections that make this work meaningful and relevant for our children, the schools, and the communities. It helps us give a framework so that we can build on, as a department, ways to support schools as they work towards creating 21st century learning environments. We know, each one of you very clearly knows, that our schools need to be modernized, to be healthy, to be safe, and to be sustainable. And you all are setting the bar and modeling what that work can look like around the country. It's the American Rescue Plan that includes $122 billion for the elementary and secondary schools emergency relief fund that helps schools prevent COVID-19 and recover from its effects. So among all the other health and safety purposes that these funds can be used for, to improve ventilation in schools, which also, as you know, is a great way to improve school building efficiency. Such an opportunity with these funds to address COVID-19, but also the efficiency of our school buildings. This ARP investment is an unprecedented and important start, and it's one that's responsive, of course, to the immediate storm that we're all living through. We're living, working, and learning in this storm, and it's an immediate response to that, but it doesn't provide the answers, nor does it provide the funding to meet all of our schools' health and safety needs. Therefore, sustainability in all of its facets comes from the opportunity that's in front of us now, so that we can reinvest in schools, not just for the recovery, but for the long term. In January, the president took executive action to tackle the climate crisis while creating good paying union jobs and equitable clean energy future, building modern and sustainable infrastructure, restoring scientific integrity and evidence-based policymaking across the entirety of the federal government. And he worked to reestablish the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. Climate action is an important priority for this administration, and we, government at all levels, private companies, school systems, communities, and more, all levels, have a role to play in solutions and strategies so that we can build and implement this bold and necessary vision. These new executive orders have helped to catalyze the kinds of conversations around the department's own engagement in 21st century readiness, expanding ours on-the-ground support and the broader role that we can play in this important work as we move forward. We, along with all of our sister agencies across government, published a more robust and dynamic climate action plan. This was not the first time that the Department of Ed has launched a climate action, sustainability, or environmental justice plan. However, this effort was notable because for the first time, the group developing the climate action plan worked to consider not only education's facilities and operational footprint, sustainability, and adaptations, but also our authorities and our potential to be able to support your work. It's the next level of investment and prioritization of climate and sustainability work as it pertains to schools and school systems. It's central to our president's Build Back Better agenda. The Build Back Better agenda means historic investments that will transform our students' educational experiences. That includes $100 billion investment in rebuilding our nation's public schools to be able to create safe and healthy learning environments for all students. The president's plan also addresses lead in schools, which can slow development and cause learning, behavior, and hearing problems in children, as well as lasting kidney and brain damage. The president's plan also electrifies school buses for safe travel for our students, and the Build Back Better agenda would make a down payment on electrifying our yellow school bus fleet. We know that with the right tools and expertise and investment, schools around the country can truly reduce the costs, improve the health of buildings and the occupants and the planet. And with those actions, we will be able to boost achievement and outcomes for our students. And it happens with equity in one fell swoop. We know what's possible when we do these investments right, with the grounded mission that is necessary for our children and our country. The work that every single Green Ribbon recipient is doing, that you all in this room are watching online and you're leading, you are the leaders. And that work can be bolstered, it can be amplified, and it can be multiplied with the Build Back Better agenda. We are at that moment of inflection for our nation's education system, and we have an opportunity right now to finally meet the hope and the promise of American education for every single student in every single community, in every single school building and classroom across our country. So today is a moment of celebration. From North Carolina to my home state of California, Wisconsin to Alabama, you all represent the best that our schools have to give, and importantly, what is possible for the future of our schools. And the fun does not stop here. I'm pleased to announce, more to come, that in October, Andrea and I are taking this show on the road to North Carolina for this year's Green Strides Tour. We're so thrilled to once again have the opportunity this year to visit your communities, highlight your accomplishments, and most importantly, learn from you. It's the 2021 Green Strides Tour, where we will highlight how rebuilding schools based in underserved communities with sustainable infrastructure ultimately cuts costs and creates healthier and more productive learning environments for those who have historically lacked them. That's just the beginning. We're also eager to stay in touch with each of you, stay engaged with you across the country, and we'll be announcing more exciting opportunities to get you involved and uplift your work. Stay tuned with more announcements in the coming weeks. I just want to thank you, the White House Council on Environmental Quality and the Environmental Protection Agency, my colleagues being here with us today, for supporting and sharing our heartfelt vision of a healthier and more sustainable school community across the country. Thank you to the team, of course, at the Department of Education for your work planning this event and selecting our honorees and ensuring that we're available to support your work year-round, not just for this event. And thank you truly to each one of you for helping us have this vision for a brighter America. We're so proud and happy to have you with us today. Let's make every school a green school, thanks to your support.
Right, on schedule despite starting late. At this point, I'm going to invite our speakers. If you would like to take a seat in the audience, that's fine too. We're going to do a quick change set here, and then we're going to present the plaque. So we'll just be reorganizing a little bit here. Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll be in touch. So I also want to introduce another colleague here at the department who's going to be helping with handing out our plaques. That's Adam Honeysett, my boss, Managing Director of State and Local Engagement at the U.S. Department of Education. Adam is a former Eagle Scout who fondly remembers his 14-day convenience-free trek across the Philmont Scout Ranch in New Mexico and now enjoys camping and other outdoors activities with his two sons. I'm especially grateful to Adam for allowing me to do all sorts of work related to climate and infrastructure and sustainability well beyond the award, and that's really unique and special in federal government. So the way we're going to work this is when I call your state, you can move over to this side here. We don't have huge numbers, so this should be relatively easy. You'll kind of line up over here. Adam will be handing you your plaque, and you'll be photographing with the Deputy Secretary over here. If for some reason you prefer to photograph alone, we're envisioning, of course, we're adapting everything for COVID. That's why there are only one of two of you representing your honoree this year. You can always just wave to Cindy, and she can just step out if that's better for you. You're welcome to take off your masks for the photo. Is that correct? Okay, we can take off our masks for the photo unless you prefer to keep them on, which is also fine. We also have some state officials here today that nominated you to Ed, because that's how the award works. A lot of times we have state officials coming up with their honorees. I think that might be more crowd up here this year than we want, but I'll leave it up to you guys if you're comfortable doing that and you want to do that to join your honorees in their photograph. That is absolutely up to honorees and state officials. We welcome you to come up. At the very least, I'll make sure to note the state officials in each case because they are truly instrumental in this work. The way the award happens is Ed invites state education agencies to nominate to us, and not every state education agency decides to participate. And we are lucky that your states do, and we're really grateful to them. Quick background on the plaques. These are made by Ravana Designs, a B Corporation, women-owned certified B Corporation based in Charlottesville, Virginia. They are made with the strongest possible environmental attributes, including sustainably harvested materials that are certified by an independent third party and manufactured using green power. I will be sending you more information on the plaques, how to order replicas, and sometimes you like to have more than one in different places. Links to your photographs, links to today's video, and many other resources. It probably won't be today or even tomorrow, but it will be later in the week that I will get that all to you all at once in one email, so just hang tight for that. I'll also know that as you come up, this tradition kind of started in the first year of the award where I somehow remembered something about every one of the 98 honorees that year and started narrating. And now I luckily have a script, so you don't have to hear me try to remember. But there's some really great work that you're doing, and I think it's really nice to hear it. If you're interested in learning more, you can find this information online. We publish a report every year that has information on what you're doing. We try to put together a little summary of your work. You can actually see what each of you submitted to win this award online. You can find a map of where you're located, and I also encourage you to connect with each other at the reception afterwards. To keep us moving at a good pace, we have generally found it is helpful. I know we're a smaller group, but if we hold applause till we get through all the honorees, it's hard. It's really hard. But if we do one applause at the end, then we get out of here faster. So we've got just 40 awards to give out this year, and a few people aren't here. I'll still mention them because there's a good chance that they are listening online, and we want to recognize their work. So bear with me on those. So we'll begin with Alabama. If Alabama folks could head over to the side and receive their award from Adam and then head up to the stage. Tuscaloosa City Schools in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. In 2018, the Tuscaloosa City Schools strategic plan was updated to focus on curriculum, human resources, and construction, specifically providing facilities that serve as an optimal learning environment with design plans to increase energy efficiency and sustainability. TCS has worked to use outdoor learning, taking advantage of such elements as forests, embankments for amphitheater-type seating, shade trees, gardens, ponds, animal habitats, and bringing in picnic tables and other seating. A partnership with Schoolyard Roots aims to teach students about organic gardening, composting, rain barrels, and farm-to-table practice. Again, these are just a few of your accomplishments. Can't read them all, but feel free to check it out in the highlights report. Now we have California. Freiberger Elementary School in Westminster, California. I don't believe they're here today, but just a few words about what they're doing. In 2016, Freiberger Elementary School installed energy-efficient HVAC systems, upgraded the entire campus to LED lighting, and added a 45-kilowatt solar array that generates 90% of the school's energy needs. They have an 80% diversion rate by recycling and compost. School meals feature organic fruits and vegetables from local farms. All field trips focus on the environment and provide field work opportunities that complement what students are learning in the classroom. Then we have May Ranch Elementary School from Paris, California. May Ranch Elementary School's energy management plan encompasses upgraded HVAC units, solar panel structures, occupancy sensors, and centralized thermostat. These improvements resulted in a 62% reduction of energy usage over 3 years. Outdoor improvements include replacing over 14,000 square feet of grass with artificial turf, planting water-efficient indigenous plants, and improving irrigation. These projects resulted in a 24% reduction in potable water use and 68% reduction in outdoor reclaimed water use over 3 years. They compost green waste and food scraps, and they have a 2,700 square foot school garden containing 19 beds, 10 fruit trees, and 9 aeroponic towers. Then we have Theodore Roosevelt Elementary School in Indio, California, who may not be here today, but their school was chosen as one of 5 schools internationally to participate in the U.S. Green Building Council's Building Learners program. Students learn how to collect and input data using the ARC online sustainability benchmarking platform. Their STEM program focuses on renewable energy sources and ecological design to reduce impact on the environment. They manage a 1,200 square foot garden, and every year students participate in field trips to support their environmental studies, including to local farmers markets, the local public transportation agency, a nearby windmill farm, and the local water utility. Then we have Los Altos High School in Los Altos, California. This school built a LEED Gold certified building to replace portable classrooms. The school purchases 100% clean electricity obtained from wind, solar, and hydroelectric sources. The solar canopy panels provide approximately 55% of the electric needs of the campus, and rooftop solar panels cover all of the LEED Gold classroom energy needs. The school has installed 30 electric vehicle charging stations. Physics students study topics in energy conservation and efficiency. In AP Human Geography, a major theme focuses on land use patterns as they relate to sustainability. Within the required economics course, there's a strong emphasis on business transactions and their impact on the environment. The Nueva School in Hillsborough, California. The Nueva School has 2 campuses. One of them offers 34 wooded acres for environmental exploration, gardening, nature immersion, and studies of ecological systems. Their Hillside Learning Center was the first LEED Gold K-12 building in the country. The school features high-efficiency fixtures, drip irrigation and xeriscaping, green roofs, solar PV panels that supply an estimated 22% of Nueva's total electricity needs. Both campuses have EV charging stations. Annually, students participate in a 4-day intersession offering more than 200 learning and doing opportunities. Then we have from the District of Columbia, DC Bilingual Charter School, who hosted a tour yesterday. Thank you so much for doing that. DC Bilingual Public Charter School provides a dual immersion Spanish and English learning program in a LEED Gold certified facility. They established a Department of Food and Wellness to oversee the school nutrition program, manage culinary and gardening education, and maintain the 7,000 square foot school garden. The space is large enough to host a diverse habitat, including a butterfly garden, triple bin compost, vermicompost, sensory garden, 15 raised beds for crops, and 16 fruit and flowering trees. They care for a variety of on-campus animals, including turtles, fish, bees, and chickens. Francis Scott Key Elementary School, also from Washington, D.C. This was one of the first schools to participate in D.C. Farm to School Week. Their community school garden market has been offered for a decade. In addition to 14 raised beds, pollinator garden, and woodland forest, there is a shed for gardening tools and supplies, signage, an outdoor whiteboard, various planters, and a hand washing station. School grounds renovations added a nature-inspired treehouse structure with boulders for climbing. Rainwater is harvested via 3 560-gallon rain barrels. A bioretention dry stream bed, rain garden areas, planter boxes, bioswales, and permeable pavements were put in place to reduce stormwater runoff. Then we have Florida. Christ the King Catholic School, Jacksonville, Florida. Through their annual Green Apple Day of Service projects with financial support from the community, Christ the King has developed a 5-acre outdoor classroom with a viewing deck and nature trails, a 700 square foot raised bed garden, a water recovery system, solar panels, butterfly gardens, a chicken coop, and a blueberry house. The school offers mentoring and tours to staff from other schools who learn how to incorporate hands-on learning into their curriculum. Students collect organic matter for composting, manage vermicomposting, and utilize recovered rainwater for agricultural purposes. They offer a salad bar that serves as an integral part of the agricultural program and developed its own nutritional curriculum. Then we have from Illinois, Wheaton Christian Grammar School in Winfield, Illinois. Wheaton Christian Grammar School features a geothermal energy system that allows 73% of energy needs to be met on site. 41% of the 34-acre property were set aside for natural wetlands, stormwater management, habitat development, and instructional use. Repurposing wood pallets, Wheaton Christian Grammar School built 4 compost bins near the community garden and added a space to share untouched, unwanted, or needed food at lunchtime. A worm bin in the STEAM lab helps lunch scraps to decompose. Students in the Creation Care Club maintain, plant, and care for the tower, garden, bees, and community gardens. In Indiana, we have Discovery Charter School in Porter, Indiana. I don't believe they were able to make it today, but just a few words about them. They're actually adjacent to a parcel of the Indiana Dunes National Park, so they have really easy access into the forest. They get to explore the forest, wetlands, and old home sites as a natural laboratory for students to make observations, to explore plants, animal signs, and water quality indicators, and to learn to care for the land. School grounds themselves include a butterfly garden that has been certified as a monarch, way station, beehives, and pollinator plantings. That houses a rain garden and a reseeded grassy playing field that was once gravel. Students have examined energy use, biodiversity, consumption and waste, healthy living, and schoolyard habitats through the National Wildlife Federation's Eco Schools USA program, earning a silver award for their school. They also participate in citizen science projects such as water quality monitoring and in stewardship projects such as the removal of invasive plants from surrounding areas. Then we have Paramount Brookside in Indianapolis, Indiana. Paramount Brookside reworked a desolate and overgrown portion of the campus into a welcoming pocket park for the Brookside neighborhood. Their 5.5-acre site includes a 3.5-acre working farm, which encompasses 90 vegetable and 10 herb beds, a 7-variety orchard, a pollinator garden, a 2,200-gallon water cistern system, an outdoor classroom, composting bins, a shipping container barn, a chicken coop, a goat barn, a 2-hive apiary, and a cheese production kitchen. The licensed dairy operation is the basis for the Paramount's artisan cheese enterprise. From start to finish, Paramount Middle School students and staff handcraft the cheese, which is available for purchase at local retail outlets. Extracurricular activities include goat, bee, recycling, and gardening clubs. Then we have Kentucky, the Academies of Bryan Station High School in Lexington, Kentucky. The Academies of Bryan Station High School and surrounding community partnered to create a rain garden and outdoor classroom. The University of Kentucky's College of Education staff worked with students to research ways to improve water quality around the city. Partnering with Bluegrass Green Source, students conduct waste audits and visit the recycling center. Students visited a large aquaponics system that produces and provides fish and vegetables to local restaurants and food banks, and then built their own. The school green team has collected over 2,400 pounds of bottle caps, resulting in enough recycled material to make 6 benches and 2 picnic tables using Green Tree Plastics, which manufactures recycled plastic products using 100% recycled plastics. Then we have West Kentucky Community and Technical College from Paducah, Kentucky. West Kentucky Community and Technical College started a sustainability newsletter and created a public sustainability website. Since 2018, the college has hosted an environmental education leadership AmeriCorps member who is, in collaboration with students, assisting the college to become a certified Arbor Day Foundation Tree Campus USA, mapping trees on the 210-acre main campus and revitalizing a campus nature trail to connect the east and west sides of the college's main campus. In 2019, a sustainability module was implemented into the mandatory first-year experience. A greenhouse on the Paducah School of Art and Design campus provides hands-on learning that culminates in a culinary arts farm-to-table certificate. Then we have Louisiana, Southeastern Louisiana University in Hammond, Louisiana. I believe they are not here. They constructed a sustainability center in 2010 that uses a geothermal pond loop system to heat and cool the building. The center also has a wind turbine, a solar thermal system, and an electrical charging station. Their dining facility, the Main Dish, provides monthly environmentally sustainable eating and waste reduction campaigns. The campus garden produces food for the local community and is an educational tool for local youth. Southeastern's biology program is invested in the ecosystem of nearby lake through the Turtle Cove Environmental Research Station. Then we have Missouri, Flants Early Learning Center in St. Louis. Flants Classrooms, this is one of our early learning centers. Since about 2017, we've had early learning centers recognized in addition to schools, districts, and post-secondary institutions. Flants Classrooms are named for trees native to Missouri, and every classroom has access to the outdoors. 75% of the school roof is covered with reflective materials, and the HVAC system can be controlled remotely. Rainwater connected from the Flants Center roof is captured in 2 8-foot covered cisterns, which is then used to water and irrigate the garden. Flants' garden consists of 20 raised beds in which students grow vegetables, herbs, and fruit. A school chef prepares nourishing meals, including organic baby food, incorporating a variety of fruits and vegetables daily. And a display kitchen allows the school chef to conduct cooking demonstrations for families. Nebraska, we have Gerald Ott Blair Middle School in Blair, Nebraska. In August 2019, Ott Blair began composting all cafeteria food scraps using the vermiculture method and composting bins built by environmental science students. The school composted over 1,700 pounds of food scraps over the course of that year. During compost lessons, students learn about what composting is and how to do it, as well as why it is an important way to provide quality soil for plants to grow in. They participate in the Trex Challenge for the recycling of plastic bags, taking home awards, and they partner with the DeSoto Bend National Wildlife Reserve to provide outdoor environmental science class at the refuge for students. Newman Grove Public Schools in Newman Grove, Nebraska is not attending. Newman Grove Public Schools, their FFA program oversees paper and aluminum recycling. Students maintain a greenhouse where they grow lettuce for the school cafeteria, and they are in the process of setting up a larger herb and produce garden. They participate in Nebraska Beef in Schools program, where local families donate beef to the school lunch program. The Newman Grove Public Schools Shell Creek project studies the effects of agricultural chemicals on the environment in the local area. Students from Newman Grove Public Schools have volunteered their summers to monitor the water quality in the area for nearly 20 years. They test 6 sites covering more than 30 miles of the watershed. New technologies have been added to this project, such as drones and GIS. Approximately 1/4 to 1/3 of the junior high and high school student population participates in this program annually. Then we have New Jersey, Switlick Elementary School in Jackson, New Jersey. In the fall of 2016, Switlick introduced a behavior-based energy conservation program that has reduced energy consumption by 16% and saved over $2.5 million in energy budget expenses over 4 years. A 317 kilowatt solar array on the roof exceeds the amount of electricity Switlick consumes from the grid by over 42%. The school's 2020 Energy Star Portfolio Manager score is 96. Starting in kindergarten, students learn about the life cycle of a chicken by observing a classroom incubation chamber for eggs, and the students look forward to holding the chicks once hatched. The Green Team organizes assemblies on recycling and energy, and all students attend the Barnegat Bay Watershed Festival and also participate in outdoor lessons in the school's courtyard. Then we have Winslow Township Middle School in Atco, New Jersey, who I believe is not attending. Students at Winslow Township Middle School use plant-based food waste and worms to make compost for their gardens. They have food challenges based on the popular cooking show Chopped. They have an 820 kilowatt solar system that is owned and operated by National Energy Partners. STEM teachers have incorporated the solar panel energy generation into classroom lessons using the New Jersey Empower Schools program. Students from the environmental STEM classes explore environmental issues facing the world through the study of campus environment, developing testing solutions to address those issues. One focus for this course is sustainable agriculture, soil and water health, and food supply. Then we have New York. PS 90, the Magnet School for Environmental Studies and Community Wellness in Brooklyn, New York. PS 90 customizes science curricula so that every unit and every subject has a connection to climate change and human impact. Students analyze a real-world problem and develop solutions. They deepen their learning by researching, collaborating, writing, and analyzing and presenting to an audience beyond their classroom, often at the school's annual expo, to display their understanding of the effects of climate change. They maintain 3 hydroponic gardens indoors as well as a greenhouse and outdoor garden. The school has adopted a plant-based menu, incorporates school garden produce into school meals and snacks, and offers family food nights. They installed a beehive to aid in the teaching about the importance of bees and pollinators. And then through the 1 Billion Oyster Project, students go on field trips to PS 90's Oyster Reef. Students help with research and data collection. Then we have New Roots Charter School in Ithaca, New York. New Roots Charter School offers a learning environment that empowers young people as citizens and entrepreneurs to create just, democratic communities and thriving green economies that restore the natural world. The Cayuga Lake watershed is a focus of study and restoration each year. Students conduct scientific field studies, learn directly from the community, environmental organizations, and local agencies, share their research with their community, and participate in ongoing ecological restoration work. Students engage in meaningful outdoor activities at each grade level, including hiking, gardening, stewardship of local parks, outdoor recreation and sports, fieldwork for science topics, tree climbing, ski club, and urban history walks. 100% of the available school grounds are dedicated to an urban farm. The Farm to School program provides a free, healthy breakfast and lunch for every student and staff member that emphasizes regional and organic whole foods. And of course, the cafeteria waste is then composted and recycled. Recycling is maximized. Scarsdale Middle School in Scarsdale, New York, I do not believe is here. At Scarsdale Middle School, 75% of teachers have participated in approximately 30 professional development courses related to the integration of environmental studies, sustainability, STEM, green technology, and civics into their curricula. The Scarsdale Sustainability Curriculum is interdisciplinary and asks students to connect what they learn about science, math, economics, politics, and justice to climate change issues. They participate in environmental stewardship opportunities such as garden maintenance, cleanups, compost workshops, recycling assemblies, and interact with guest speakers and other community partners. Their enclosed courtyard houses 10 raised beds of approximately 1,000 square feet. Then we have North Carolina. Wrightsville Beach Elementary School in Wrightsville, North Carolina. They are not here today. I will get to see them on the tour, though. They are nestled on a barrier island surrounded by a tidal estuary. Wrightsville Beach Elementary School was renovated into a modern structure that brings in natural light and highlights the surrounding environment and provides ample opportunity for students to take advantage of a variety of outdoor spaces. The Wrightsville Beach Elementary School Marine Science Program has grown over 20 years to encompass outdoor environmental education, classroom education, community outreach, interdisciplinary learning, and citizen science projects. Each week, students have class out on the school dock to learn about the marsh ecosystem and local wildlife. They collect and record data on water quality, tide levels, and the number of fish and crabs caught during each class for cross-curricular lessons. Studies about ecosystems come to life through field trips and hands-on explorations. They hold an annual 5th grade kayak race in tandem kayaks. While navigating the race course and passing each motorboat manned by parents and teachers, students are required, as a team, to answer academic questions. Sounds like a great trial by fire, right? I love that anecdote. So next we have DC Virgo Preparatory Academy, a lab school of UNC Wilmington. DC Virgo Preparatory Academy uses 2 rain barrels to water the garden and landscaping. And that's great. Thank you so much. I failed to invite some of our state officials up, but I'm so glad that you're coming up. Nathan and John, and we'll have to recognize our other state officials later. I realized that partway through that I had failed to do that. If state colleagues are here and you want to come up with your honorees, that's great. Outdoor classrooms provide the opportunity to engage all students in outdoor learning. Students receive weekly composting instruction. The school is home to an on-site health clinic, an action-based learning lab for K-3 students to integrate sensory experiences. Middle grade teachers have partnered with University of North Carolina's Wilmington's Marine Quest program to construct 3 specialized programs for middle grade students focused on ecology, meteorology, and biotechnology through the contextual lens of marine science. And if you guys want to stay up for your other honorees, that's perfect. Wake County Public Schools System, Cary, North Carolina. Wake County Public Schools System, and I'll also get to see them on the tour, both of us will. There are over 26 million square feet of facilities, are benchmarked for energy, water, and greenhouse gas emissions and portfolio manager, resulting in an annual Energy Star certification. Landscaping for new schools includes native plants that do not require irrigation. Older schools have installed rain barrels and cisterns, engaging students in these conservation projects. 5 schools within the district have been designated as watershed stewardship schools. Working with the Post Center for Health Education, over 21,000 K-12 students learn with a certified health professional. 2 elementary schools in Wake County share the designation of Center for Environmental Connections. Several high schools use engineering to tackle such topics as food insecurity, sustainable energy sources, and access to clean water. Other career academies at high schools feature such themes as biomedical sciences, sustainability, sustainable energy engineering, environmental studies, and agribusiness leaders. Then we have University of North Carolina, Wilmington in Wilmington, North Carolina, also a stop on the Green Strides Tour in October. This was the first university in North Carolina, in the North Carolina system, to reduce campus energy use by 30% based on a 2002 baseline. They've worked with the North Carolina Coastal Federation to undertake stormwater projects. They participate in the Campus Race to Zero Waste competition and have hosted several zero waste basketball games. The Wildlife Preserve on campus is a unique space located in the center of campus that provides just over a mile of trails. They have solar-powered umbrellas in front of the library to allow visitors to enjoy the outdoors while charging a phone or other device. They have a 250-gallon aquaponics system located in one dining hall. Campus dining uses the vegetables and herbs grown, and students conduct investigations. A sustainability minor was created to enrich any course of study with sustainability. In 2020, the Sustainability Learning Community was established for first-year students at UNCW. Ohio, James N. Gamble Montessori High School in Cincinnati, Ohio. This school is located in the heart of Cincinnati on a 14-acre campus featuring 4 outdoor classrooms and an extensive land lab with a maple grove, arboretum, spring bulb garden, permaculture orchard, raised beds for edible plantings, and kitchen herb garden. Every aspect of the school garden and orchard is maintained by students. The Agriculture, Career, and Technology program is preparing the campus for a pollinator garden, a high tunnel hoop house, and an aeroponic tower garden. The environmental science curriculum covers a wide range of topics from biodiversity and ecological relationships, food production, water, air quality and pollution, climate change, and human impacts on environmental systems, to politics, ethics, and social justice. During intersession, students get out in the world to connect community service to their in-class learning with practical life skills, hiking in the Smoky Mountains, whitewater rafting, urban farming and sustainability, animal rescue, and conservation. Pennsylvania, Hance Elementary School in Gibsonia. I don't believe they're attending. They created an outdoor classroom with the support of their PTO. The inside, they have 2 sensory paths, encouraging students to move their bodies during the day. They conduct routine testing to monitor air quality in the building. They use Green Seal certified cleaning products. They participate in Crayola Color Cycle recycling program. And they have participated in the Healthy Schools Pennsylvania program, which is a state benchmarking program that allows schools to track achievement in the various areas of curriculum integration, community engagement, professional development, sharing successes, school philosophy, air quality, water, waste, recycling, energy, health, transportation, and school grounds, a lot of intersections with Green Ribbon. Then we have Commonwealth Charter Academy based in Harrisburg, but virtual, so all over the state. Their Ag Work Center is the largest K-12 school-based aquaponic facility in the country. The facility includes fish tanks, grow beds, clarifiers, LED lights, and technology to bring learning alive to students. The Ag Work Center is 100% powered by 1,050 solar panels located on the roof of the building. The remaining energy is used to supplement power to the rest of the Capitol campus. Students use an online dashboard to learn about energy production, how to reduce energy usage and costs. They learn about composting, embryology, and animal husbandry. They participate in field trips to wastewater treatment plants, have studied ecosystems, lake ecology, mine impacts, waste management, and alternative energy. Their adventure club includes field trips such as archery, canoeing, whitewater rafting, zip lining, hiking, snow tubing, ice skating, horseback riding, outdoor rope courses, orienteering, kayaking, stand-up paddle boarding, fishing, and paintball. Sounds good to me. Lehigh University in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. In 2020, Lehigh University adopted its Sustainability Strategic Plan 2030, which encompasses 6 focus areas and 113 goals, with each goal aligning with one or more of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. They joined the EV Purchasing Collaborative to leverage the buying power of fleets to make electrification more affordable and accessible. Students are engaged in sustainability research, internships, and opportunities to use the campus as a living lab. Some examples include an app to help direct leftover food from campus events to hungry students, smarter trash and recycling bins to eliminate recycling contamination, and a food carbon footprint calculator for Lehigh dining to display how carbon intensive the menu item is and to motivate sustainable food selection. Then we have Rhode Island, Barrington Middle School in Barrington, Rhode Island. And Joe, if you want to come up too with your honorees, feel free, or we'll see you later when you get your award. Barrington Middle School. Are they here? They might not be here. They are not here, it appears. Okay, well, I'll just read. That's fine. Let's see. They have a Youth for Climate Action group whose members co-design lessons with faculty. The entrepreneurship teacher leads a United Nations Sustainable Development Goals project in which students learn about upcycling and environmental impact. Students annually take tours of the nearby landfill and recycling center to see the impact of waste on the environment. They installed outdoor classrooms, and the campus abuts wetlands that classes use for learning space. The reason why I hesitated is because Joe's actually coming back up to get his own award. He worked with schools that won an award, but he will also receive our state award this year, the Director's Award, and so that was a little bit of the confusion. We have another school from Rhode Island, Portsmouth School Department in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, who they are here. Portsmouth High School is home to the district's wind turbine, erected in 2009 and a large producer of electricity in town. The district receives energy credits, which reduces its energy bill. PSD's food contractor, Chartwells, has a robust farm-to-school program that features local produce such as apples, corn, potatoes, and squash. They created an after-school club called Portsmouth Agriculture Innovation, which students planned and designed, students planned and designed farmland on 5 acres featuring solar energy, composting, pollinator pathways, and an outdoor pavilion and a high tunnel. The elementary schools have installed edible gardens as well. In Utah, we have Shadow Valley Elementary School, Ogden, Utah. For a full week annually, Shadow Valley works to educate students and parents about the importance of reducing emissions, including assemblies, outreach, and rewards. If parents turn off their engines, their student receives a small prize as they enter the school. My kid would love this. Shadow Valley's green ambassadors documented the impact. They found that more than half the cars avoided idling before the initiative, but more than 75% of cars avoided idling 2 weeks after the initiative. The STEM and environmental science teachers developed a school-wide multi-year problem-based learning project to improve the campus. Every student at Shadow Valley attends environmental science classes, providing large and small problem-based learning activities that attempt to solve environmental issues. During the COVID shutdown, Shadow Valley used the opportunity to offer staff environmental science professional development with the theme Getting Back to Going Green. Virginia, Prince William County Public Schools, Manassas, Virginia. Since 2011, Prince William County Schools has built 8 new elementary schools that earned LEED certification and is pursuing LEED certification for 2 schools currently under construction. 60 Prince William County sites have earned Energy Star certification. Annually since 2013, the division has hosted a sustainability summit to celebrate accomplishments and share best practices among the various schools. Environmental science is taught at the 9th grade level at all high schools. Students may take Earth Science, Advanced Earth Science, AP Environmental Science, or IB Environmental Systems. Specialty programs include Environmental Engineering Career Program, a Center for Environmental and Natural Sciences, an agriculture program that encompasses horticulture, turf maintenance, and landscaping, among other subjects. And Washington, Anderson Island Elementary on Anderson Island, Washington. Anderson Island Elementary is a small rural school serving 22 students pre-K to 3. They developed an outdoor classroom in its forest. The school community also worked to restore the local creek, building up the ecosystem by raising and releasing salmon each year. Embracing the weather, students go outside every day, rain or shine. PE is always outside. That's music to my ears. Students participate in annual field trips to beaches for water quality testing and habitat exploration, and to a nearby hands-on science museum. They teach math in the form of direction finding, calculating tree age, and looking for geometric shapes within the plants. Students craft birdhouses, create natural ornaments, and discuss texture and shape in plants. Wisconsin, Helen R. Godfrey University Child Learning and Care Center in Stevens Point, another early learning center this year. This is a community location for 4 and 5-year-old kindergartners in the Stevens Point area school district, in addition to providing childcare for children from birth to age 4. They have 2 vermicomposting units that allow children to learn about food waste and what they can feed the worms. Children then use the worm castings in the school garden during the spring and summer. Their location on a campus offers a wealth of walking field trip possibilities. Children visit the local nature reserve, the Natural History Museum, the school forest, the campus botanical garden, and the sculpture garden. To encourage walking and rolling drop-offs, the center offers bike racks and daytime stroller storage. Another early learning center, Starms Early Childhood in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, cannot be here with us today. They completed a holistic multi-year schoolyard redevelopment project, and allowing them to teach environmental themes, conservation, and cross-curricular lessons that emphasize careers. They removed over 12,000 square feet of asphalt and installed green infrastructure features that manage over 42,000 gallons of storm water per rain event. They compost food waste, contribute to the Crayola Marker and Trex recycling programs. They've conducted an energy audit and received a Energy Star Portfolio Manager score of 91. They have raised beds that are cultivated, planted, and tended and harvested with the help of students, staff, and family members. They have an arboretum containing 30 varieties of trees. Clement Avenue School, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Clement Avenue School has installed efficient light and faucet features, occupancy sensors, and computer power-down management systems. They began working with a local company called Compost Crusader to divert organic material. They also conducted a major redevelopment project that can manage over 88,000 gallons of storm water every time it rains. They removed 22,000 square feet of asphalt and replaced it with green space and a mixed-use recreation and educational space. They have a bike garden, and an annual unit on biking encourages safe routes for students. Every year, the early childhood classrooms participate in a butterfly life cycle program. 5th grade students learn about the water cycle using the green space and the cistern. Students participate as animal ambassadors through a partnership with the Milwaukee County Zoo. University of Wisconsin-Madison. UW-Madison has documented a 38% decrease in greenhouse gas emissions and a 20% decrease in potable water consumption over 10 years, while increasing gross square footage of building space by over 18% and seeing the campus population increase by 7% as well. Waste reduction efforts encompass surplus procurement, using food waste to make compost, liquid fertilizer, and biogas, and recycling. They have 16,000 bike parking spots, a bicycle resource center for repairs, bicycle-related classes, and an air and repair stations across campus. Their campus food shed distributes fresh produce that would otherwise be thrown away to several fridges located conveniently across campus and made available to students and staff at no cost. The Nelson Institute for Environmental Studies is host to interdisciplinary programs and research that help to solve challenging environmental issues while also training leaders and innovators. And that's actually it for the school awards, but we have that one other award I mentioned, the Director's Award. And before I do that, I want to invite, I failed at the beginning to mention our state officials, and then it was incongruent to mention some and not others. But I want to ask all of our state officials who made it here today to stand up for a moment. And there are some who are not in the room today, but they all play a huge role in nominating. So John and Nathan, thank you. Juan over in California, Joe. Grace in DC, who's hiding behind her mask. In every state, this award is not possible without your state nominating officials. They choose to take this on in state education agencies. They don't have to. So we were really grateful to them. And every year I try to spotlight their work by picking one, and it's hard, one state official whose exemplary efforts to administer the award are recognized by us. So in this year, we decided to give it to 3 individuals. It's a trio in Rhode Island. We know them as the Pep Boys of Rhode Island. That's Joseph De Silva, Manuel Cordero, and Mario Carreno, who could not be here today, but Joe's here accepting the award on behalf of the 3 of them. They hosted an ambitious Education Built to Last facilities-themed tour back when I started the tour in 2013, and I said, hey guys, we're going to do a tour, and they were game. And that year I took it to 13 states, which was insane. I no longer do 13 states a year, we do 1 state a year. But they did a fantastic job with that. They have engaged stakeholders from various agencies and nonprofits in their state to bring in. One of the aims of the award is to get state education agencies working with peer agencies and nonprofit partners around sustainability environment. Because as you saw at the federal level, EPA, CEQ, there's the whole alphabet soup of federal folks who have programs and equities related to schools, but we don't necessarily sit at the same agency. Same thing happens at the state level. The other thing the Pep Boys did that was really cool in Rhode Island was that they linked an existing Rhode Island facilities grant. The award is administered in different states. It's administered in different offices, so it might be in a curriculum office or a health office or a facilities office, and in their case, it's a facilities office, and they had the foresight to connect their facilities grant and say, okay, if you get this grant, we're going to cultivate you in the pipeline for Green Ribbon, and you need to also look at health, and you need to also look at environmental learning. So that was pretty cool. So we really thank Joe and his team, all 3 Pep Boys, although they could not be here, and all of our state officials for my colleagues in North Carolina who are hosting the tour this year, and are being very generous with their time as we plan that tour. So that's it for awards. You are officially dismissed. Thank you so much, Deputy Secretary. We'll hopefully see you maybe a little bit later at the reception. We're not quite done yet. But I didn't want to make you stand up here. So that's it for awards. We actually have 2 more speakers. Then we have my closing. Then we will get to the reception. It sounds like we have moved that reception indoors. So the first of the final 2 speakers, these are our nonprofit partners that we work with on Green Ribbon, and also a multitude of other issues related to sustainability, climate, environment that you'll hear from next. So the first of the 2 is Director of the Campaign for Environmental Literacy, James Elder. Jim was the leader of the 80 organizations that signed on to a letter requesting of Ed in 2011 that we create this award. So he was the one with the bright idea to do this. He has advocated for other important federal environmental education programs and funding across federal agencies over the years. In 1980, he founded the School for Field Studies, building it into the nation's leading environmental field program for undergraduates. And yet, by Jim's account, his greatest sustainability achievements come through his children. His 3 grown sons have all chosen to pursue careers that improve the environment. One son works for Michael Bloomberg, providing technical assistance to cities on sustainability measures, another for Google on documenting and improving their carbon footprint, and the third launched a company selling plant-based meat substitutes. Alas, not one of them has inherited Jim's love of fishing. I'll let Jim take it away for a moment.
Freedom. Thank you, Andrea, for your kind words. On behalf of the Green School community, I wanted to first thank Andrea for her leadership and commitment over the past 10 years. I'm not sure if you're aware, but you're part of the 10th cohort for Green Ribbon, and it's a bit of a milestone. She's got every right to be proud of the impact that this program's making, as you're all well aware. And I want to thank the department for their foresight and vision in standing up and continuing this vital program. This program represents the Department of Education at its best, using its unique position to single out and draw attention to best practices in education. Finally, I, of course, also want to thank each and every one of you for all the selfless work you've done over the years that have culminated in your award. You are my heroes. I know that this work often wasn't part of your job description, and it was work that you undertook mostly because you just believed it was the right thing to do. I want to say just a few words about what the program means to me and part of the story about how it came to be. Your hard work is helping to establish, both in the public's mind and within mainstream education, that becoming a green school means making substantial progress in all three pillars. In a time when every school with a schoolyard garden or recycling program is calling itself green, you are bringing deeper meaning to the very term green school. Your schools are beacons of hope and inspiration for us all as the world struggles to find its way towards a more secure and sustainable future. Particularly meaningful for me to be here with you today. Back in 2010, I had a problem. I was convinced that none of our solutions to the myriad of interconnected environmental issues made any sense without addressing one of the root causes of the problem, and that's ignorance. Surely we would not have done such damage to the planet and so severely compromised our children's future over the past century if enough of us had understood how the ecosystem upon which our very lives depend actually works. And if environmental ignorance isn't addressed, then we may solve one environmental problem only to see another pop up to take its place, due to a lack of understanding of the consequences of our environmental actions. Federal funding for new programs had largely dried up by 2010, though I knew a new grant program was unlikely to get much traction. I was up in my office over my garage late one night, reading through that bestseller, The No Child Left Behind Act, all 1,600 pages of it, trying to figure out if there was any crack in the door. And I stumbled across a clause in which it was mentioned that the Secretary of Education had the authority to recognize exemplary schools, such as the Blue Ribbon schools. Well, I'm sure you would think the same thing that I thought. Why isn't there a Green Ribbon School award program? So with the help of my colleagues from USGBC's Center for Green Schools, the National Wildlife Federation, and the Earth Day Network, we began a successful campaign to convince the administration that this idea had merit. So to conclude, I just want to say that I feel a deep moral obligation, which I suspect many of you share, to give the next generation the tools, skills, and attitudes to address all the environmental problems that we're leaving them. So I thank you again for all that you've done to help meet this obligation. And at the same time, I hope you won't rest too long on your laurels. There's a bit farther to go. We envisioned 3 school goals at the beginning of Green Ribbon, and these 3 goals could continue to be your North Star, the benchmarks for which you could aim if you aren't already. Those goals are, first, that 100% of your graduates, 100%, are environmentally literate. Second, that your school has a net zero environmental impact or footprint. And third, that your school has a net positive impact on the health of your students and your staff. To my knowledge, no school in the country has achieved all 3. And I look forward to your school being the first. So welcome to the select group of 600 schools across the country who have won this prestigious award over the past 10 years. My best wishes for continuing your green journey towards making the world a more livable and sustainable place. And thank you for your time and attention.
Building Council. The Center for Green Schools at the U.S. Green Building Council has supported our ceremony reception now for 10 years since the inception. Every year of our award, and they're sponsors of our Green Strides website. If you visited that site, it's greenstrides.org, where we've been putting all the various resources from different nonprofits and federal agencies that so that they're easier for schools to find. And we partner on many other things. So our next speaker is Anissa Hemming. She's the director of the Center for Green Schools. Anissa started working on green schools in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, where she helped the school district set green standards for their rebuilding. She's visited schools and districts in nearly every of the 50 states through her work with the Center for Green Schools. In her off work hours, she's usually here in DC working on her 1913 row house, and more recently trying to keep a toddler from demolishing it.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations. I'm not actually sure we did an official round of applause for you, so let's just go ahead and do that. Congratulations. Thank you, Andrea. It's a pleasure and honor to be here with you guys to celebrate the accomplishments of schools around the country, schools that have embraced the promise of a more sustainable future and committed to showing their students what that might look like. And you model it in your schools. I congratulate Andrea for her stewardship of this program over the last 10 years and thank her for keeping it going through the turbulence of the last several years. Thank you, Andrea. Now, speaking of congratulations, you and all the work you have done in your schools puts me in awe. And today, as you have received this award, you join a community of 10 years of award-winning schools that are striving for some of the same things. So this might be uncomfortable, but take a second and turn to somebody you don't know and wave at them. You're going to see them at the reception. Find somebody, lock eyes. This is your peer network. Meet them. You all can be a strong support network for each other. One of the most central programs of the Center for Green Schools is our Sustainability Leaders Network. It's a network of sustainability staff at the school system level around the country. Represents about 167 school districts, 300 people who are all dedicated to implementing sustainability in their school systems. They rely on each other through online networking, through education sessions that we host to support each other and learn from each other in strategies that they're implementing in their school districts. That is a strong opportunity for you all to do that, especially regionally and locally, about sort of what programs exist in your local area, through your state, et cetera. So especially get to know the other schools, if there are any from your state or your area. They are your best resource for advancing your work. Because this work is not easy and it is constant, you have to have that kind of support to keep it going. Moving the operational and social system of a school, district, or institute of higher ed can be complex, as I don't need to tell you that. It is much easier to do what has always been done, and you are pushing for something different. You are pushing for schools where our young people and our communities can see the possibilities of a world that's healthy for people and the natural environment, and that, in fact, the relationship between the two is essential for our survival. The act of educating a child is an act of choosing the future. We don't have full control, of course, but we do educate for what we wish to see in the world. It's an act of hope. It's a bit hard to find our pathway to hope these days, isn't it? Our schools are mired in all the social turmoil that's present in our country. I know it's exhausting. In taking steps to make your schools models of a better future, you are embracing the kind of higher level purpose that can bolster hope and inspire those around you. You're an inspiration to me, to your peers in this room, and to the Department of Education leaders who are here today. In this place of leadership that you've gained through all of your hard work, you have the opportunity to influence schools in your region to follow your lead, and you have the opportunity to influence national policy as well. As you heard from the Deputy Secretary, Congress is considering infrastructure investments that would be green, They are also considering climate change education initiatives and several other things that relate to climate action. Your voice is the one they most want to hear. When I go, they say, bring a school. I don't want to hear from you. So you have a lot of power in this conversation. You can contact the department if you think that there's something the department can do to support this work. You can write to your senators and representatives and ask them to do more to bring K through 12 education into the climate action conversation. You can also influence local policy making. You know the kind of employment center and also model of the future that you represent in your local communities, and that is a strong position from which to advocate for local change. Also, on a smaller level, you can connect with 1 to 2 peers in your region to try to sort of pull them along and model what this could look like and help them take your lead. So come talk to me or others from the Center for Green Schools who will be at the reception after the ceremony about how you can reach out to neighboring schools, how to advocate, how to connect to our existing peer network, and how to take the next steps in your own path. And don't forget to find those folks that I made you wave at. They're your peers, and you might be surprised at what you will learn from them. The Center for Green Schools is honored to host the reception each year for winning schools, and this year's celebration will be out these doors inside in the lobby here. We've also put some tables outside. We just didn't want to put everything outside because of the rain, but you're welcome to go out the secure doors with your stuff and sit out on the patio if you'd rather be outside, especially as you have masks off. So with that, I will say congratulations. Thank you for your dedication and your leadership, and I look forward to meeting you. Thanks.
I forgot mine up here, and I feel kind of like that recurring nightmare of being on stage naked, except you're mask naked or something. So we're almost done here. Thank you so much. We're really thrilled to have you here and to be able to offer this event in person this year. As you can tell, it's a little bit different, but we're making it work. You heard that it is there's a little bit of rain, so we've kind of adjusted, and we have an inside portion to the reception and outside, and we'll make it work. To send us off to the reception, I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about you collectively, the 2021 U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon Schools District Sustainability Awardees and Post-Secondary Sustainability Awardees. You are working as schools, districts, and post-secondary institutions to reduce your utility costs and improve health and hands-on learning in innovative ways. A total of 27 schools, 3 early learning centers, 5 districts, and 5 institutions of higher education have been honored today for their efforts to reduce environmental impact and utility costs, promote better health, and ensure effective environmental education. The list of selectees includes 24 public schools and 3 non-public schools. We also have 1 magnet and 5 charter schools among our public schools. You are energy and ASHE stars and LEED facilities. You house sustainability offices, have hired sustainability directors, and implement climate action plans. You employ daylight harvesting, cool roofs, and high-efficiency heating and cooling systems, windows and doors. You've installed rooftop solar arrays, solar water heating, cool roofs, wind turbines, geothermal, energy dashboards, high-efficiency light bulbs, and digital building controls. You reduce, reuse, recycle, and are striving for zero waste. Students participate in upcycling contests, pack zero-waste lunches, and print double-sided. You've gone trayless, and you offer reusable dishes and flatware. You divert thousands of pounds of food scraps and organic yard waste from the landfill by instituting share tables, composting, and donation programs. You carry out stormwater management plans with bioswales, rain barrels, gray water systems, permeable pavement, and rain gardens. You have installed water bottle filling stations, water filtration systems, low flow fixtures, and movement sensors. You meticulously monitor water quality. You have devised landscape management and schoolyard master plans and been designated tree campuses. You've replaced asphalt with green schoolyards and turf with native plants. You have devised landscape management and schoolyard master plans and been designated tree campuses. I just went back to the Lost my place there. Your alternative transportation efforts include safe routes, bicycle-friendly campuses, designated parking for carpoolers, electric vehicle charging stations, shuttles, and bike and vehicle loan programs. Your students stay active and protect air quality as they walk and bike to class. You know that a safe, healthy school building environment is key to healthier, higher performing students and staff. You change air filters on schedule and test to ensure that your facilities are safe from mold, mercury, radon, and carbon monoxide. You select cleaning products that are safe for building occupants and the planet and implement preventative, holistic pest management. Your schools are no smoking and no idling zones. You look after the overall health of your students with bullying and violence prevention, restorative justice, positive behavioral intervention, social emotional learning, yoga and mindfulness, character education, and peer counseling. You offer social workers, school-based health centers, dental clinics, vision checks, asthma support, diabetes awareness, sun safety, bike safety, and weekend food backpacks. To keep active outdoors, your students participate in climbing, hiking, canoeing, surfing, sledding, skiing, snowshoeing, and running. Students enjoy outdoors physical activity in all weather. Students consume local, organic, and school garden grown food. They eat scratch-made lunches and enjoy featured harvests of the month. They find salad bars as well as vegetarian, gluten-free, and international dishes in their school cafeterias. Your students learn by doing. They're working hard in your outdoor classrooms, which contain courtyards, birdhouses, beehives, chicken coops, goat barns, monarch way stations, nature trails, wildlife habitats, and wetlands. On sites such as these, students engage with not only science, math, nutrition, and agriculture, but also with art, literature, and social studies. You're using the school grounds and surrounding community to deepen students' understanding of the natural world and their connection to it. They collect data, raise trout, chicks, goats, and shad, test water quality, count birds, and tag butterflies. Students monitor, chart, and evaluate wastewater and energy consumption. They construct native habitats, build rain gardens, plant trees, turn compost, and cultivate their crops. They participate in courses such as agricultural science, alternative energy, animal science, meteorology, fish and wildlife management, ecology, art and ecology, green architecture, and green engineering. Your preschools and kindergartners spend several hours outdoor every day, dressed and ready to dig, build, play, sort rain or shine. Not surprisingly, your students delight in their gardens. These include sensory gardens, pollinator gardens, aquaponic gardens, tower gardens, container gardens, greenhouses, and fruit groves. With garden classes part of formal instruction, students measure, plan, write, synthesize, collaborate, and problem solve as they plant, water, harvest, prepare, preserve, donate, and compost. They benefit from 4-H programming, master gardeners, AmeriCorps volunteers, and dedicated garden educators. Your students are not only taking their lessons home to teach their families, but are also building partnerships with local, national, and international organizations, farms, parks, preserves, nature centers, zoos, and aquariums. Your students participate in outdoor experiential overnights where they learn orienteering, astronomy, and leave no trace. You form partnerships with utilities, natural resource and public health departments, offices of sustainability, waste management companies, and water management districts, environmental education centers and associations, health and sustainability nonprofits, and energy savings companies. Your teachers are constantly learning and bringing their experiences back to the classroom. They use teaching materials from Project WET, Project WILD, Project Learning Tree, and the National Energy Education Development Project, to name a few. We're always thrilled to see your students engage in civic learning. They're restoring native prairies, removing invasive species, cleaning up beaches, and conducting wetlands maintenance. You celebrate School Nutrition Month, Farm to School Week, Healthy Schools Day, Living Schoolyard Month, Walk and Bike Days, Green Apple Days of Service, National Environmental Education Week, and of course, Earth Day. And then at your green colleges and universities, students prepare for careers with sustainability in mind, with programs in sustainable agriculture, design, energy, business, forestry, and horticulture. Students tackle real-life problems involving environment and health. You are Eco Schools USA, Project Green Schools, ASHE Stars, Sierra Club's Coolest Schools, and now 2021 U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon Schools. Collectively, as you can tell, you're pretty fantastic. I have one request. Before we head outside to the reception, we ask, as some of the other speakers suggested, that you enlist other schools, districts, colleges, and universities. Encourage them to use some of the same resources, practices, and programs that you have already employed. You are examples to other schools. You can find some of those resources on that website I mentioned, greenstrides.org, that we maintain. You can get more ideas from your peers, as Anissa suggested, at the reception. Those are also in this year's highlights report, where each of your schools is, or district, or post-secondary institution, your honoree is featured. Help other schools learn how to save money and ensure that students are healthy and learning by the most hands-on, engaging means possible. Once more, congratulations. We are thrilled to have you as our 2021 U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon Schools. One more round of applause for you guys. And just really quick before we head out, I want to thank some ed colleagues who helped with this event today. Special events team, Kevin Plord, Elizabeth McCain, Lisbeth Paris, who took a lot of your registration, our colleagues from the studio, Joshua and Paul, and many other colleagues at ed who helped us to do this today. Like I said earlier, I will be sending you links to photos, to the video, to info on your plaques. I'll get all that information together and I'll put it in one email, so hang tight. If you hit me up earlier, I probably, just because I just don't have it yet. When I get all that rounded up, it will go to all of you all at once. Make sure that you get all your stuff when you go. You'll see that your boxes for your plaques, so you can get those home safely, are on the back table there. Make sure that you don't leave anything here or outside. We will all be out there at the reception. There should be other ed colleagues joining us there, so if you see people who don't have badges, feel free to ask them who they are. They're probably working in this building, and would love to learn more about the work you do. Thank you so much for being here today, and also look out for your legislators. It sounds like the USGBC has once again tried to get some of your legislators or their staffers here to connect with you. So it's a smaller group this year, so usually we have a complex phone call system. We will find you is the plan this year. We will find you because there are not that many of us, and they will connect you. If your legislator or their staffer is here, they will work to connect you. And the reception, which way are we going out, guys, to the reception? Does anyone know? I do not know. We're going to go out this way. Is that the best way to get there? Okay, because I didn't know where you guys set up. Fantastic. Thank you so much for bearing with us. Like I said, it's the first year of hosting this event here, so it's a little bit trickier. And the reception, I look forward to seeing you all out there in just a few moments. Thank you.